This is Radio Free Cybertron episode. It's 758. Now, if that like sends a shiver down your spine, you're old. So, Chris and I have been commiserating about this for a while. So, what's the most recently on, let's say, Twitter? I'm certain Twitter's not the nerve center of Transformers fandom, but it is for me. That's where I'm at. Like, what is like some of the major happenings that for Transformers fans on Twitter? Has it been like that horrible picture that popped up with like Puffer and Road Ranger or whatever?
Ooh, that was a bad one.
Yeah.
That was a bad one.
Well, It's 758 was the meme on Alt Toys Transformers back in 1999. I guess late fall, maybe summer. I forget when Beast Machines first aired in Canada on YTV. It aired in Canada first, didn't it?
Well, season 2 aired first in Canada because YTV basically rolled season 2 right after season 1 ended. The airing of season 1 might have been close to simultaneous.
Well, so basically what happened is, I forgot who it was, but they were so excited about the airing of Beast Machines, which is going to be at 8 p.m. on YTV in Canada at 7:58. They posted, it's 7:58. And in proto-internet meme fashion, it took off.
And it kept going for like 2 years.
It kept going and going and going. It's like the worst thread on Alt Toys Transformers ever. And I'm still scarred by that 22 years later.
Yeah, so like for our younger viewers who may not have ever had the Usenet experience, but are very familiar with like forum culture, you know, forums will often have one, you know, subforum, one board on the forum for, you know, randomness or just like, you know, the rules are a little bit more relaxed here. Just, you know, if you want to go nuts here. 758 was basically that for ATT.
Yeah, Alt Toys Transformers was more or less strictly just Transformers conversation. Usenet was different. Think of it as like your parents' Microsoft Outlook with Transformers and everything else. You get everything else too. But you communicated basically through Outlook or some sort of similar client.
I mean, there was web-based interfaces too.
That came later. By that point, I think Deja News was around.
Yeah.
But it was a crappy interface.
Oh, it was. But, you know, if your ISP didn't provide you with newsgroup access and you didn't want to go and like make an account. Yeah. I mean, either way, but like it was an alternative for people who didn't have, you know, direct as intended Usenet access.
But so basically this was all your base are belong to us, but for Transformers in the 1990s.
At 7:58 p.m.
Yeah, at 7:58 p.m. Eastern time.
In Canada.
Okay, Brian, I'm trying to remember, is that about when Raksha went into the moderated before or after?
That was
before that.
Okay, because that's kind of
this happened
fuzzy
long
for
after
me.
Raksha left.
Okay, I'm saying it's kind of, that whole period is kind of fuzzy for me.
That was 96-ish, 97.
Yeah, I was going to say, didn't she split off around 97?
Yeah, that was different. Yeah, so this was a much different time, but...
Although if she hadn't split off in 97, she certainly would have when 758 happened.
Yeah, and I'm Brian Kilby. That was Chris.
Yes, hello.
Don also. Diecast is here. And
I was
Rob.
a Transformers fan in 1997.
Were you born then?
I was born in 82.
Wow.
So,
it's so weird to remember that Diecast is actually older than me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was in high school in 1997.
I graduated high school in 97. Don graduated
88.
Yeah. So, yeah, we're old. Rob's here. Matt is not here. Matt is on assignment, just like I was last week. I was on assignment last week because I thought my head was going to explode. I was so angry. I just couldn't bear it. But
see, I tried to put a more positive spin on why you weren't
I was
here.
just in a bad spot. My van, which I bought brand new, has been in the shop now for a month and 5 days. 1 month and 5 days. It is now, though, over the warranty. So in North Carolina, it is not technically a lemon. It just sucks. So Yeah.
Do you have over 100,000 miles on that thing?
No, the warranty for the powertrain is 60,000. It's Chrysler. I'm never buying another Chrysler product.
And how many miles do you have
Dodge, it's at 74,000.
I can't believe you put that much mileage on that thing.
We drive a lot.
Wow.
Yeah. So, yeah. So, yeah, I'm not buying a Chrysler again. Sorry if you work for Chrysler. We loved the car until it started giving problems. Oh, God. Okay. So Don said, trying to keep my windows at a minimum. Do we have the reveal of the new reaction figures down? What are you talking about, Don?
They revealed the new wave of Reaction 5 POA figures. Grimlock in dinosaur mode, Prowl,
I don't care.
RC.
Nobody cares about that.
The POS figures?
The reaction figures.
Those 5 POS figures.
Yeah.
Although on that subject, Brian, what do you think about that G.I. Joe Saves Christmas set that they revealed?
I'm buying it. I meant to buy it last night. It's from the Mass Device. It's the Blind Woodsman or whatever it is. With snake eyes and the dog sled. It's the most amazing thing I've ever seen. It's gonna be crap, and it's too expensive for what it is, but I love it.
Yeah, it's the G.I. Joe equivalent of, Alligator Con in the Ultimates, but it's a crappy reaction thing instead because G.I. Joe.
Yep. I'm buying it, definitely. In fact, let me do that right now. Give me a second.
All right.
Okay, everybody take a drink.
Super7 store. Is that super7store.com?
I believe so.
I just figured y'all would ask me what I thought about the RC.
Don, what do you think about the RC in that set? This is a very freeform episode. It's the Christmas episode. I wanted to call it the not clip show because a lot of podcasting clip shows, we don't have clips. I don't like doing that.
I'll be honest. I was kind of hoping for some more dynamic artwork on the card. They usually tend to capture.
There's an action figure included on those cards that you collect, right?
Yes,
but they can't do dynamic action either.
Yes, but I'm just saying, the reaction figures I have is because of, Hot Rod, Galvatron has the cannon pose, and Hot Rod has the cocky young go get 'em attitude pose, and a lot of the Jazz has the thumbs up pose. I mean, they capture a lot of the good character in the artwork. The RC is just kind of. I expected her maybe in her classic, gun shooting pose, or her doing like the hand on the hip with the gun like this, like she's getting ready to pop a cap in somebody. But it's just kind of just there.
It should have been Springer pulling her by the arm. Come on.
I mean, if they had, if on the back of the card, if they had done like a mosaic of different, like you put together one scene and you put all the cards together, that would be kind of interesting. But I mean, it's just, I was expecting something more dynamic for the character rather than
So while Don talks about the Transformers on video, if you're watching, I'm showing the Blind Woodsman set. It's $75, but it's amazing.
That thing is $75?
Yeah. It's in my cart right now. As soon as I'm not showing my screen, I'm going to buy it. Snake Eyes glows. Don is just like choking because of this. I'm sorry. Let me go back to...
Brian, while you were away, I mentioned that I've got the start of the
flu. I'm sorry, that sucks.
No, it's not the flu. It's
or a sinus infection or something.
It's a sinus infection. I'm on a steroid and antibiotic.
Okay.
So I get these coughing, hacking.
And Diecast, it sounds funny because he's on a Bluetooth headset because he's upstairs because he has a new puppy and he can't leave it alone.
Yep.
My wife was ogling pictures of it from Facebook. It is a, what's her name? Willow. It's a very cute
Willow.
dog.
Yep. She was a clearance dog too. No one wanted her.
A clearance dog.
Well, my family got a clearance dog once.
What makes her a clearance dog?
Her price was slashed.
Oh, I think Jack's price was slashed compared to the other dogs on that website.
It's in like 2002, we went to go buy a dachshund because my parents wanted to breed dachshunds to have a little side money to bring in. And, they had this really nice black and tan dachshund puppy. And she had a sister there who had about 1 inch worth of tail. Apparently, as a birth defect, the tail got like broken or something in utero. And she was born with just a 1 inch long tail. They were selling her for $100. And it's just like, we have to take that too. That's adorable. So we we got a clearance puppy with
for
our
exactly 2 dogs in my life, max. And I never thought I would pay more for a dog than he did. And he was like $300. I'm like, dogs are free. Cats are free. Why am I paying for this? I don't want to say what I paid for Jack, but it
was more than that.
Substantially more than I ever wanted to pay for an animal. That's not a person. I don't understand why pets are so expensive. Like every other pet I've ever had was given to me or we found it on the side of the road.
And I mean, for complete responsibility message here, like, if you're looking for a nice pet for your family, go hit up your local animal shelter and adopt if at all possible.
Yes, that is far and away my preference.
Yeah.
Nor like
same goes for cats, not just dogs. Yeah. Just
when I say
animals at home.
The place I get my dogs from, they're brought from down south where they're, the kill shelters are basically, full of dogs, and they bring them from the south up here.
Are you saying that they don't have kill shelters up there? That sounds awesome.
No, we have kill shelters up here.
Then why not use the dogs from up there?
We have a lot of non-kill shelters up here also. But apparently there's a problem in the south.
Help control the pet population. Have your pets
spayed or neutered.
Yeah. So they ship them from the south up to here to get adopted, and they do all, they get checked out, they get shots, and they even get spayed or neutered as part of the adoption fee.
Yeah.
So it actually works. It's actually pretty reasonable to adopt a dog, especially with all the stuff that they do.
Yeah.
It was much more expensive for my friend to give me a dog, and then I had to take the dog to the vet and get all that stuff done myself.
Oh yeah, I get it.
So,
but seriously, adopt. Go to the shelter. Get a pet that way. That's the way to do it.
Yeah.
But like, hey, just want to say, like, when I said we found pets on the side of the road, growing up, that's where my pets came from. Dad found them where other horrible people dropped them off.
My family has rescued animals that way that stayed with us for years after that, dogs and cats.
We even had a chicken that Dad found on the side of the road.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Was
we had chickens, but not rescue chickens.
We had a rescue chicken. Yeah. So, okay.
I mean, you were more rural at one point than I've ever been,
rural.
So that makes sense.
Yeah. Very rural. So, yeah, okay. So Don said what he had to say about the reaction set. I'll say I was not impressed. Let me go, let's see here. So Grimlock, RC, what else was in the wave?
Prowl, I think.
Yeah, Prowl, Grimlock in Dino mode, RC, and Reflector. Reflector.
What would be great, and I don't, it's not supposed to be a joke. I'm serious. Like if Reflector, the figure, came with 2 other reflectors that were just little pieces of cardboard behind him. I would actually think that was cool. They're not going to do that, but
no, it's just. I think I'm doing this from memory, but I think it's the spyglass. Or actually, no, I'm sorry. It's the animation Reflector where they all look the same, and so he's just being called Reflector.
Yeah. So okay. So can I show this Twitter?
Well, yeah. So in the cartoon, Reflector was just Reflector. They didn't identify the individual robots. But I think there was 2 animation models. One had the lens on the torso, and the other one didn't. I think they did distinguish them sometimes when someone remembered. So this would be Spyglass, I think.
Yeah, Spyglass is the one that had Spectro, Spyglass, and Viewfinder were the 3 names.
That Prowl looks terrible.
Yeah. But which one had the lens, Don?
I think it was Viewfinder. I believe it was Viewfinder that's supposed to have the lens.
Grimlock might not be bad.
Well, okay.
Were you talking about Perceptor? I'm so confused.
No, Reflector.
Oh, I had Perceptor in my head.
Well, that was the wrong toy to have in your head. Yeah. So okay.
I think they've done a reaction Perceptor though.
You're probably right. I don't collect them. I just buy them right
now. It was a couple of waves ago. Yeah.
I'm just excited for that X-Transbots reflector, because that thing is going to come with a bunch of little. It's going to come with a little reflector, and I think a little bumblebee, and
nice.
Another reflector in periscope mode. So it's going to be cool.
I never want another reflector in my life.
Which one do you have?
I've got the important one.
Yeah, I have the 55 different versions that Hasbro put out over the last couple of years.
Yeah. So like a bunch of us have straight up Siege Reflector, the 3 identical Siege release ones that make the camera. We've got the not selects or the not HasCon exclusive one, but totally was a HasCon exclusive at one point, or some kind of exclusive like that got shifted to shared retailer exclusive, the Toy Colors one. And then we've all got the scrap face reflector too from the 3 Netflix ones that you can make a camera out of.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just got
I wish I'd
2 of
gotten
them.
And I had the Make Toys one as well, but I gave it away.
That's a good reflector,
I guess. Okay.
Part of me does at one point in the future want to have a G1 reflector, just because like
there's a knockoff of it that is readily available.
Yeah, I mean I've had that in mind too, theft.
That one Hasbro's not making it anymore. I
know. We just haven't, gone to the theft well in a while, so I thought I'd bring it back. No, it just like it's one of those few G1 toys that feels like I would get as much out of it as I would the modern version for what it does. The Diaclone toys seem better about that to me for like
I get
long lasting interest value, I guess. I don't know the right way to describe it. But you get the idea.
Works.
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else? Yeah. So we are like I said, this is
I have no idea what we're doing.
This is a very, very loose episode. It's Christmas. None of us want to be here. I'm kidding. Matt didn't want to be here.
I mean, that's kind of how it was on superhero time in the old days. So around this time of year, what I would do is like there was a bunch of recorded material that got cut from the episodes as published, which you would never know since an average episode was like 2.5 hours long for the longest time, especially after JD joined us, because then boy, those episodes run long because JD could talk, man. JD could talk, but it was entertaining, so it was fine. But there was a lot of material that got edited out anyway, and I would usually go through at the end of the year and go through some of that. Like all year long, I was thinking this would be good for the end of year show. I'd put stuff aside, and I would just I would assemble a clip show, but it'd be clips no one had ever actually gotten to hear before, and that was always kind of entertaining.
I love that.
Yeah, so I miss doing stuff like that, but at the same time, I don't miss having like 3 nights a week taken up with podcasting stuff.
So actually, real quick, I want to do a PSA. So on all seriousness, so we try to give back in a way, just share information, tidbits about our lives, etc. But there's something that has changed in my life in the last week and a half that I do want to share. So I'm really excited to be here because I'm really energized because
you've had a lot of caffeine, haven't you?
I know. I've cut back on caffeine. I don't need it anymore because I got a darn CPAP machine. So I've had people tell me that I've had like sleep apnea for going on 20 years. And I never did a thing about it. My doctor referred me to a sleep specialist like 10, 12 years ago, and I didn't do a thing about it. And, if you listen to the show, especially increasingly over the last couple of years, I've talked about how I can't remember. I'm so tired. I go back and listen to stuff that I recorded. I was listening to my Christmas album from like 3 years ago, and I'm slurring my speech. I've listened to RFC before, and I slurred my speech a lot.
I thought that was just your accent.
No, it's my sleep apnea was so bad, I probably literally have brain damage from it.
Reversible brain damage.
But apparently, what I've learned, it's likely reversible. But like the way that I feel just using this thing over the last week and a half, I feel so much better. I don't wake up with a headache. If I'm tired, I don't have like this weird groggy sensation. I'm alert. So if you are like anybody can have sleep apnea. It's not just people that are overweight. Being overweight is a risk factor, but according to my doctor, if you lose weight, doesn't make the situation any better. I've had sleep apnea when I was fit, when I was fat. My brother has it. He's fit. My other brother probably has it too, and he's jacked. But like if you think that you have it, if anybody's ever told that you have it, if you wake up in the morning and your head's killing you, go get a sleep study. is the most amazing change that I've done in my life as far as like my health goes or just how I feel ever. No, seriously, do it. I should have done it 10, 12 years ago. My memory would probably be better, and I certainly would have gotten more sleep. So, yeah, definitely if that's something it's ever crossed your mind, do it. It's definitely worth the effort. Okay, that PSA is over. One thing I did want to go into, our buddy Benson Yee, posted some stuff on Twitter and the Facebooks and his website at bwtf.com. I'm going to show this off. Went to a grand opening of a new Toys R Us store at the American Dream Mall.
Okay.
And that's
I was
Jersey.
thinking about going to that.
You should go. Yeah. So let's see here. What are the relevant photos? This is at bwtf.com. We'll link to it, of course. But he got some, like a little Jeffrey in a bag and some bots. A mall Toys R Us. It looks like Toys R Us. It legit looks like a Toys R Us, not just, in name only. In a lot of ways, it's in name only. But it looks like they've really done their homework, and it's laid out very similarly to how other mall Toys R Us's have been laid out. Now, if you had a freestanding Toys R Us, it might have looked different, but this looks to me like, actually, maybe it looks more like KB. Okay, it looks like a KB. If you miss KB, but you want it to have a Toys R Us name, this is where you need to go.
Are they all clearance toys? Is that what?
No, KB. Look, you're going to pay. It's going to say clearance, but it's going to cost more than retail at KB.
Until they eventually get sued for the practice.
Yeah, and if it goes to the KB outlet, you're still just going to pay retail for it. But that's cool. I would really love to go. Hopefully, one of the malls in Charlotte will get it. There's a Transformers display. There's just something great about a Toys R Us. I don't want to grow up. But even if I did, I'd still want to be a Toys R Us kid. I grew up and I'm not a Toys R Us kid anymore. That was a total lie. So, yeah. The only thing it's missing is like the shopping spree from Nickelodeon. Was it what was it called? It was like a $5,000 shopping spree that kids got. I thought that was like something that happened to people. It's like, oh, I can't wait till I get to go on a shopping spree. No, didn't happen. That's cool. Definitely something to aspire to, going to a Toys R Us.
I'm glad Ben had a good time.
Yeah, me too. Ben deserves it.
Yeah, there's a lot of good people in the fandom, but Ben is. I've known Ben for a very long time, especially through BotCon. He's not a personal friend, but I know him through the show, and the man is honestly a really good guy.
Ben's an awesome human being.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got to share a shuttle ride with him back from BotCon 2016, and he actually knew who I was and complimented you and me on our T-Formers writing, Chris. It was
Ben's
nice.
awesome. Yeah, Ben's an awesome dude. Okay. So that's really like all the news that I had. So
okay, but we can talk about the backer update for Victory Saber.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, tell us about it, Chris.
I mean, it's so like Hasbro seems to have decided to commit to monthly-ish backer updates, which means that there's going to be stretches here where the content of the updates is a little on the thin side. Compared to if they were, holding stuff back like big presentation bursts. But where they are at right now, they've actually started to cut the steel molds.
Nice.
And one thing that's interesting to me here is they actually specify that they do this with laser etching to cut the molds.
That makes sense.
Well, I had always assumed that they were using like CNC milling.
They might have in the past.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's very possible. I mean, if you go back far enough, there would have been like basically an artisan at the factory, someone skilled in doing that not by hand, but hand operating the tools that would be able to make the cuts, which would have graduated to something like a computer controlled CNC mill. But like, I never thought of the laser etching as a method to do this, but it does make sense as a probably more efficient process.
Efficient,
and
like high resolution,
and more repeatable.
Yeah.
Which is getting ever more important because like we see how many toys share core engineering concepts. Hasbro's developed that word partial that they're using as their insider lingo for what we traditionally have called retools, because it's not retools anymore. They're remaking parts of toys to share between different things. So like that repeatability is super, super important. So most of what this update is talking about is just like the basics of how injection molding works. Now, of course, for us, we've been around this stuff for a long time. We've tried to educate ourselves, but there's a lot of people who are going to be coming into this, and for some of them, this is going to be like their first education in like the details of how injection molding works. And I think it's really valuable to not just have it explained by the article and text, but actually see the pictures of what the molds look like. There was a point in time not all that long ago where the layouts of Hasbro's parts runners were like a closely guarded secret. So the BotCon customization classes, you would get runners of parts to assemble the toy from, but there was this strict rule: you cannot leave the class with those runners intact. And we presume that was for secrecy reasons, so nobody could take that and try to copy how the stuff was laid out. But like right now we can look at, and we had this with Unicron too, we got to see what the steel tools looked like, the paint masking process in the one video. Like, these backer updates for the Transformers products have been immensely educational and unique inside look at this stuff. And what I thought was interesting too, they actually specify, they have some slide-in parts to account for injection molding. You can't have like overhang on parts. So to get around that limitation, there's slide-in elements where they can add, I guess, geometry to the parts from a different direction and make a more complex part shape in the mold, instead of having to do it as multiple pieces, which would have to be fused together later.
That makes sense.
So like, even for me, I consider myself reasonably well educated about this stuff. I'm still learning stuff about this process from this. So even, a little bit of a thin update like this one has had value. So it seems like the stage they're at now, the molds have been cut with the laser etching, but now they basically need to go and be polished, and then they can start having test firings run through them with the random plastic colors. And since this is the first cuts of the mold, nothing's going to probably work right the first time they run plastic through it. So these are going to get, tweaked and revised. In the worst case, some may have to be cut again because something went wrong and has to be redesigned. But hopefully that doesn't happen, because that costs a lot of money. But, if you're looking at this and thinking delivery is next December of 2022, there's mold and test shots happening sometime soon already. Like, why is it taking so long? Well, the test shot process is one of the longest parts of the factory development time of this, because that's where they have to keep going over and over again, making those revisions to it. So this is going to be part of the process for quite a while. And they also have, I think, 19 separate steel molds to cut. What they have pictured here is one mold element, the two halves of it, from two different angles. So that's 1 out of 19 elements that have to be cut, polished, and test shot. So it's going to take time and labor to get through this process. So we're still looking at the very early stages of this.
So the cool thing about that CPAP machine is I'm still wide awake after that.
And one other thing to consider.
Thanks.
No, that was great. That was a great explanation. So and the whole idea about adding additional geometry with a laser makes total sense, that you could do that with a laser when you couldn't do that with a CNC.
Yeah, probably so.
Yeah. Go ahead, Don. Sorry.
Oh, that's okay. Plus, also something that's going to add to the time is with them selling this in so many different countries, even once they get everything cut and they start getting test injections, you've still got a variety of safety regulations you're going to have to meet in all these different countries. So that's going to probably add.
If it's not being sold at retail? It's a question, not
yeah, it would still have to meet safety regulations for something considered a toy, even if it has a label on it saying, 16 and over. if someone still looks at it and thinks it's a toy and thinks they should give it to a child, there is still liability on the manufacturer for if something injures or, you know, in worst case, kills that child as a result of something being designed badly.
Right.
They may not be legally required to do that, but they're going to do that for cover your ass purposes. Yeah. I don't think there's a lot to consider with like different regulations per country. They're going to go with whatever country has the tightest regulations and meet those, and then they'll know that it, you know, is covered for everybody else.
So, and for pedants, though, the country that they sell to or do business with, most likely.
Yeah,
probably.
Well, Chris, I got a question for you. Since you were talking about this, if there's any parts of that Star Saber that they can use down the road, or alternate parts that they can graft into these molds now to be used later, is this when they would do it? Like, if they say, hey, like this pair of legs we can use again.
Oh yeah. So like, maybe not for Star Saber specifically. Like, I don't think they would do this with a HasLab thing as such. Now, I don't know that they've said, like with Unicron so far, that this is never going to be used again at any point. Because they did say that flat out with Unicron, it's never going to be used outside of HasLab. But yeah, absolutely. If they were going to work in alternate parts for, as we were saying before, a partial based off of this, and this applies to any toy they're developing at this stage of things, this is when they would add that in, because it's cheaper to do it as part of the initial mold cuts when they can kind of budget the stuff into the space they're already working with, rather than to have a new plate put together specifically to add on after the fact. Either way, the way they do it now is much more economical for adding stuff later than it seems to have been in the past. Don, you might remember this from one of the various Hasbro Q&A panels at BotCon, where they would have said past about 20% new parts on a toy, it's cheaper to make an entirely new toy. And obviously that has not been true for several years now.
But what if, I'm just doing this for my own benefit and for the audience. What if they wanted to reuse Saber himself without all of the Space Ultra Magnus gear around him?
Depends what's on the mold. How they have it.
So one thing they specifically mentioned in this update was that parts for Saber and the V-Star are all on this. The mold they showed is one of the Red Runners, and it's got parts for Saber and the V-Star on it. So it's mixed. There's not like one mold that's just Saber parts and then another set of molds that's just the upgrade parts. Now, you know, in injection molding, there's always the possibility of adding gates into the flow lines for the plastic to cut off the stuff you don't want to have produced. But whether the factory is interested in actually doing that is a different question. A good example of that is with Combiner Wars molds. So some of the Night Warrior sets, the combiner plugs, which are nylon parts, they can't be painted. Some of the Night Warrior sets had their combiner plugs in two different colors. They're designed to be shot all as one color. So that's why, you know, most Combiner Wars toys and the BotCon releases have solid color combiner plugs, but say like the Grand Galvatron set, it has a few toys in it that have the multicolor. The BotCon people wanted to get those parts gated off and get multiple colors on the combiner plugs, and the factory said no. So it seems very much like there has to be enough incentive for the factory to actually go through those extra steps to make that happen. And either Hasbro or Takara, who have the relationships with the factory to forward those requests, didn't want to deal with that, or the factory, upon receiving that request, said, no, it's not worth the effort at this scale of production, something like that. So it really just depends on the situation. It's a possibility, but in a lot of cases, it's just not going to happen because of feasibility. But that's a good question, Don.
I'm just amazed that they don't have the multicolor available yet, like Bandai does, because I think it's been over 10 years, and I'm not sure how long the patent lasts. That's
20,
what I want to say.
In North America, like 20.
Yeah, an American patent is 20 years.
Unless
I don't know how it works for
Disney.
Japan.
That's a,
yeah,
It's got to be coming. I would think it has to be coming up soon. That they should be able to use multicolors in their molds. Well,
the other thing too, and I think Rob will probably back me up on this, Bandai also is like highly secretive of how their actual machines work, like national security level secrets. So whatever process Bandai has invented, they have patented. Somebody could look up those patents as a matter of public record. It doesn't mean somebody else is going to understand how to make that work, because it's Bandai's engineers who put all that together and actually make the things work. Yeah. It's basically analogous to having all the ingredients for a cake from a recipe, but not having the directions of how to combine those ingredients or how to cook them.
Yeah. Hey, so one thing I want to point out is the shipping on that Super7 Arctic Rescue set.
Yeah,
$14. That seems like a lot to me, considering what it is.
I think that's Super7's standard shipping rate, possibly? Question mark.
Yeah, they're probably skimming off that.
But I think they have a flat starting shipping rate.
Okay. Well, there you go.
So some choice comments from the Discord, tfradio.net/Discord. So Boris, who is our friend Rusted Cross, suggests Star Saber remolded into Commander Class Reflector.
Yeah.
MRP73 also suggests Star Saber remolded into a CPAP machine.
Hey, there you go.
At least we know our live chat audience is paying attention tonight.
John's in the chat. When I was talking about the CPAP machine, he's like, "Is this a commercial?" tfradio.net/Amazon. See if you can find one. Yeah.
Probably could.
No, you can't. You can buy stuff to clean it with. You can't.
Yeah.
It requires a prescription. So, yeah. Okay.
But yeah, the things Bandai does with injection molding is almost miraculous. I've seen, especially on some of their anime style human character model kits, they've got ways to make variations in skin tone just with the plastic layering and the plastic colors. Yeah, it really is. It's beyond me to understand the mechanics of how they make these things work.
One of the most impressive things that I've ever seen out of them is that I got a real grade Gundam GPO-1, I think it was, and that uses multi-plastic injection to make the entire inner leg mechanism molded as a single piece on the runner.
I think some of the newest perfect grades are doing kind of the same thing.
They did something similar, but not quite as complex a long time ago on the, I want to say, master grade Gundam 1.5 as well. But just the fact that they can do it at an even smaller size with the real grade was just really kind of impressive.
Is this similar to how the new pinless joints in the Marvel Legends and some of the Lightning Collection figures work?
I don't know. I don't have any of those, so that it's entirely possible they could be molded in that way.
Yeah, that's something I don't really have a great understanding of either, but it seems like it could be a similar thing. But yeah, the real grade skeletons, which are they're assembled, molded in the toolings, that is another one of those just how do you even come up with this? Mm-hmm. How do you make that work?
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else in respect to this?
No, I think we're good. So,
Don wanted to talk about some favorite Christmas memories. And, we have time to kill and it's Christmas. I don't want to talk about memories, but I do want to talk about some of the things I got for Christmas as a kid, because I only remember 3 Transformers or Transformers adjacent items. 2 of them, I posted this on my website years ago about how I wanted Omega Supreme and didn't get it. Instead, I got GoBots. But I did get GoBots. I think for my 6th birthday, I got some GoBots model kits. I don't even remember the model kits being a thing, but
that's by AMT, I think.
Yeah. So no, that's right. We talked about those recently.
Well, they've got sometime in the last year, I think.
Yeah. But I got a couple of those one year. I got some I got some parasites. That was a transforming toy line, not actual parasites. That was a Matchbox.
I think it was Matchbox or Hot Wheels. I'm not sure if they were owned both by Mattel or not. I think it was Matchbox.
And for my when I was 8 back in '87, the only Transformer that I actually ever remember getting for Christmas was Brainstorm.
Oh,
still have it. So, yeah.
What about the Mirage you infamously broke when you were 6?
I bought that at the store myself. So
that's a lot more sad then, isn't it?
Yeah, that was not a gift.
Okay.
Yeah.
I somehow conflated that with being like a Christmas present. You broke it, Christmas.
So it was. I believe it was generally around Christmas time. But I don't think it was a gift. I think that maybe I was given money and I went and got, broke it. But the same thing for Slag. Slag. It was probably around the same holiday-ish general time frame. But I don't really have much in the way of Christmas memories when it comes to Transformers. The only thing that I really ever got, and I'm a broken person. I think we all are. That's why we're here on the podcast. So I got that Brainstorm, and since I've tried to buy I've got a really nice mint box Brainstorm. I may have the Takara version as well. If I don't, it's on my list to buy. I love Mirage. I guess I'm reliving my childhood as an adult. I have a really nice minty, beautiful Mirage. Eventually I'll buy a Mint and Silk box one. But the thing that I do remember getting for Christmas was the Gloob Mr. Game Show. The little podium and the little animatronic person. And you play games
creepy
with your family.
As hell.
And yeah, I didn't have my family didn't do anything, so I played it by myself. But in the last year, I bought 2 of them by mistake. Again, because I couldn't remember.
I've seen the tweets.
Yeah, I couldn't remember buying both. So yeah, I'm trying to relive my childhood, and 2, hopefully my memory improves and I'm not buying the same thing over again. So. Don, you have some memories, though, related to Christmas and stuff that you got.
Or at least we hope so, because this was your idea.
Tell us about the Red Ryder BB gun you got. You'll shoot your eye out.
Now, actually, I've got a Daisy 880 pump action rifle.
That's a nice one.
It was.
I had that one.
It was. No, my 2 memories for Transformers for Christmas is... I'm not going to mention the years because I can't quite remember. I know one was after.
Don just doesn't want to acknowledge how old he is.
Yeah, I'm 51. No, one year I was allowed to open up one gift on Christmas Eve, and the rest was for Christmas morning. Now, again, remember, Transformers started when I was 14. So at this point, I'm pretty much probably 15 or 16 at this point, give or take. So
what I got when I was 15 or 16 for Christmas? Nothing. Go ahead.
I picked up, because I knew I could tell by the size of the box and the weight, one was Perceptor. So I was going to save that.
How did you tell that?
I just knew.
Did you have a scale? Did you go to the store and weigh him?
No. I'm just saying it was on my list for the holidays, and I just knew what the Perceptor box dimensions and what it weighed from looking at it so much in the store. So I knew that was Perceptor. So I picked the other one, and I'm thinking Aerial Bot gift set. Aerial Bot is the perfect shape for the Aerial Bot gift set, because I had picked up the Stunnicon gift set at the Sears Catalog Outlet Center for $16 that summer.
Nice.
And I open it up, and it's Jetfire. And
that's a lot of Christmas.
A lot of people are going to say, Don, you were an idiot. I didn't want Jetfire. I didn't have Jetfire. I didn't. I wanted the Aerial Bots, because Key to Vector Sigma was a really great episode for me, and I just didn't want Jetfire.
Did you have your driver's license at this point?
No, I didn't get my license until I was 17.
Okay.
just because of the way my birth date felt and the driver's ed.
Until I was 22. So
yeah, we still had driver's ed in school then, and I had to take it the next year with the way my birthday fell in the summer, so I had to wait and all that. But anyway, Mom was nice. She said, "I've never seen you look so disappointed." I said, "Mom, I like it. It's just not what I really wanted." And she was nice enough. She took me back to Toys R Us in Greensboro. I got on my hands and knees and I was digging through the toys that was left. And I found the only Aerial Bot set that was left. And it was in the back behind the rest of the Skyfires. And so I swapped it out and I got the Aerial Bot set that I wanted. The following year, maybe it was 2 years after that, depending on how it hit, I had down only 2 Transformers, Fortress Maximus and Scorponok. That's the only 2 that I had down. Well, I look at the boxes under the tree. There ain't no Fortress Maximus there. I know that for a fact. So I get the other box and open it, and it was Scorponok. And nice. I was really, really ecstatic to get Scorponok. Love the figure. Plus the money I got in a little envelope went into my Fortress Maximus fund. And I've told this story, but I'll tell it since it's related again. Right after first of the year, I left the local flea market after selling some stuff, had just enough money in case I saw Fortress Maximus. Went to that same Toys R Us. They had one Fortress Maximus on the shelf. The only one I ever saw.
Blade wants to know if you knew the way to Fortress Maximus as well.
No. But when
it was too big for his scale.
Yeah, but when I got to the register, I was like $15 short because of tax. I had the money to cover the figure. I didn't have the money for the sales tax. So I asked the lady if she could please hold this for me. I ran home, borrowed $20 from Mom. I said, "Mom, they've got it. Can I borrow $20?" She gave me $20 out of her wallet, drove back to Greensboro from Thomasville. Brian, you know how far that is.
Yeah.
And I bought the only Fortress Maximus.
So you drove back?
Yeah, by that point,
driver's license at this point.
Yeah, by that point, yeah. Because see, usually what I did on Sundays after
I was buying Transformers at the same age, Don. So yeah. I cannot give you grief over this, but it's still funny.
Yeah, well, see, what I usually did was on Sundays when my dad and I would be up at 4 a.m. going, because see, Mom and Dad were doing antiques. And we would go to all the local flea markets about 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning with our flashlights looking around at the tables before the sun came up. That's the way we did it back then. And, there was no nice tables and little tags with prices on them. No, the cars rolled in, you dove in, and it was an experience. And then I would go into Greensboro and I would do my homework in the car, waiting for Toys R Us to open. And I went ahead and picked up that Fortress Maximus as soon as I got back, and then I went to Brindle's and bought a $20 6-shot. So it was a pretty good book. Yeah, Brindle's had a.
So you got your 6-shot at Brindle's?
Yeah.
You remember that You remember that 6-shot that I bought this year? That has the Brindle sticker on it.
Yeah. You told me. I remember you telling me that. Yeah. So yeah, that's my 2 main memories is Aerial Bots and Scorponok, and then getting enough money to get Fortress Maximus the following January.
So Don, did you decide to live your life in retail to repay this person that put like Fort Max on hold for you?
No. I mean, she was skeptical. I said, "Ma'am, I will be back for this. I have to drive back home, get my money because I was not expecting to see one, and I will be back within an hour." I have never drove that fast in my life.
No, you haven't.
Yeah, and it's just one of them things. Those are the 2 memories. So, and I got other figures. It's like in '84 for my birthday, I got Sludge was my very first Transformer. It was Sludge, Beachcomber, Topspin, and Warpath. After that, it gets a little fuzzy, but those were my first 4 in order.
So, Jacob,
why do you and Diecast independently have boxes of nerds at
are awesome,
Brian?
That's why. But Jacob's like, are these stories of what it's like to have nice parents?
Okay, so it's not Transformers really, but I will tell you a story of nice parents. So, to put some context on this, in 1992, I believe, my immediate family decided, let's just not celebrate Christmas anymore because, like, to us, it doesn't have a religious meaning as such. And it was just, let's give Chris a bunch of toys holiday, basically. And instead, like, it's not that I didn't get gifts anymore after that. It was just that I got all the stuff I would have got at Christmas spread throughout the year. So instead of, 25 toys one day out of the year, I would get 3 or 4 things every month. It worked out. The math worked out better in my favor. But when we were celebrating Christmas, I was big into Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, obviously, because it was the early 90s. So I specifically remember the Christmas of 1990 where, like, I knew it was Ninja Turtle toys, and like I was guessing some of the stuff just based on the size and shape of the boxes, much like Don with his Perceptor there. And I was convinced the biggest box I saw was the sewer playset, which I don't think was new that year specifically, but it was certainly something I didn't have, and it was new-ish. And I kept saying sewer playset is the sewer playset, and my parents were like, no, it's not. And I made enough of a fuss about it. One of them actually went out. This would have been like the 23rd of December, I think. They went out. And this was the Chicago suburb we lived in at the time. And they went out looking around like Kmart's and Venture, for anybody who lived up there and remembers Venture, which was basically like Kmart, but a little cleaner. I mean, I'm not wrong. Just trust me, I'm not wrong about that. But like they went out and they searched me out on December 23rd of 1990, a sewer playset, because like I was making such a big deal about expecting one for Christmas. And that was the cap on a huge pile of Ninja Turtle toys that year. They also for Christmas were able to finally find me Shredder, because like I didn't understand until years later. Like I remember my parents telling, I think, other members of the family, like, it's just been impossible to find a Shredder. We could find all the other figures for him, but we have not been able to find a Shredder because the early Shredders had a production error and they got pulled for reproduction.
Were they uncomfortable that he wasn't wearing a shirt? I could see your parents uncomfortable with that.
They never mentioned it. I thought it was weird that he didn't have a shirt on, because in the cartoon he had a shirt on.
Yeah.
So I was a little confused by that. I don't know if they were really giving it that much thought. No, like my parents were awesome when I was around that age, because like it wasn't just the Ninja Turtle stuff. It was largely the Ninja Turtle stuff, but like, every couple of weeks they would come home and have like one new figure they found at the grocery store. And they were so good at keeping track of what I had and didn't at that time.
You could buy action figures at the grocery store back then. It was
so
you still can, but not the same.
Around the suburbs, there was a store called Omni, which I think was related to the Dominic's chain. But it was like a superstore. It was almost like a Meijer for people up north like that, a little bit smaller than that. And some of the better Krogers that are opening up now are kind of like that too. But they had, it was a decent sized couple of toy aisles, and especially around Christmas time, they would convert a big chunk of one corner of the store over fully to toys. And a lot of my Playmate Star Trek figures I got from that Omni, I remember, like the first year's worth of them. But yeah, I mean, it was that kind of thing. My parents were really good at keeping track of what I had and didn't have, and they would, often come home and be like, got you something. That's the story of what it's like to have cool, toy buying parents for you when you're a kid.
Well, this is a parallel to what Chris was at that age in 1990.
I was 6.
Getting Ninja Turtles. I was working at KB Toys
selling Ninja Turtles.
We would have 4 or 5 cases in the back, and we were the smallest store in the chain at the time. We were literally, I've seen living rooms that were bigger than our front opening to the storefront, just in terms of
I can believe that.
Yeah. We were basically like my phone. We ran deep in the mall, but that was our opening. I mean, that's the way it was. And we would get 4 or 5 cases in. We literally would open up a case with our case. Well, I could have a case cut. Well, I did have a case cutter at the time. It's on my pocket knife. I opened up a case, and you just stood because
I
you
was
would have
gonna
been.
say if it was 1990, you did not have any trouble selling those Ninja Turtles,
Yeah,
did you?
so let me. Masters Universe, I remember ran like $5, like when I was a kid. Turtles.
I remember buying Ninja Turtles for $3.84.
$4. They were a great deal.
Oh yeah, they were.
Yeah, so
I think they were a little bit smaller than original Masters of the Universe toys.
I think ours. I think ours
good.
was $4.86.
Well,
because you were a KB.
Yeah.
No, there was a store called Child World, which I think was an alternate name for Children's Palace, I think.
Yeah.
And I remember that was the major place I would get Ninja Turtle stuff from, and they were just under $4, and I would get about $4 per week allowance. So every week I could go basically buy one Ninja Turtle toy. That's how I remember how much they were at that point.
I had amassed basically a complete turtle set.
In the 91 to 92 range, I had all of them,
and I gave them all away. Away.
I mean, all the pieces are out there in storage boxes somewhere. I think.
Now, one thing about me is that I am an only child, but this is not you're an only child, you get everything. No, my father was not having that. My shoes came from Kmart.
Mine too.
Yeah, so I remember,
my feet hurt.
Yeah, the start of my senior year, Mom took me to this actual Buster Brown. Brian, you may remember Buster Brown shoe stores.
I don't.
And got me thank you, Rob. Got me a pair of Nikes. $50 was how much the pair of Nikes cost. This is 1987. My dad went ballistic. He said, "Do you know how many good pairs of Kmart shoes we could have gotten for that $50?" And my mom said, "My son is not starting his senior year of high school in a pair of Kmart Converse."
Was it Converse?
Yeah. Well,
I mean, wear that.
I mean the
better
the
than the
Kmart,
Die Hard brand that they used to have.
Well, that's what Kmart. Again, Converse was not what it is now. It's not the name it was now. It was a very cheap discount store brand at the time. So yeah, I mean, when people
hear for like 100 years, right?
Well, I'm just saying that's how my memory is pointing it out. Is this being a brand you found at Kmart and Roses and
great,
things.
Great shoes.
Yeah. So yeah, it's not that. I think it was just the fact is I didn't.
Let's talk about shoes for about 15 more minutes.
Yeah. So I mean, when people say, "Oh, it's my parents were great," but my clothes came from Kmart. A lot of my younger toys came from a chain called Gibson's. I think there was like 3 and that's all that existed.
My clothes came from other people.
Yeah, or Sky City. And Brian,
I love Sky City.
You remember Sky City? Yeah, that's where most of my clothes came from. My clothes
came from the generosity of other people. So yeah. Hey, okay. So I don't think that I have. I don't think there's anything else let's talk about when it comes to like this Christmas stuff. Rob, did you have any memories?
Nobody else has memories.
Diecast didn't have any. Chris didn't.
No, my memories were Ninja Turtles, like I said.
I have memories of Ninja Turtles too. That's the one I really remember because
Secret of the Ooze.
Yeah, that was
that's what I was
going to on.
That was the first movie I saw in the movie theater.
Nice.
There was a chain called Bradley's around us, and I think they had a buy one get one half off or something. So, and it was like Christmas Eve, and my mom went a little crazy and let me throw almost every Ninja Turtle on the shelf into the cart. So I got and she wrapped it in like one large box. So I got one large box of probably like 30 figures for Christmas one year, which was that's one of the only toy Christmas memories I really have.
We had a Bradley's down here in Greensboro for about 2 years. And you went there if nowhere else had it, and you didn't mind paying about $3 above retail.
Oh, so KB.
Yeah, well, no, I mean they were standalone.
KB was a percentage above retail, not a set $3.
Yeah. But I'm saying most all their stuff, and when they went out of business, they took the strapping tape, the thin, hard strapping tape, and wrapped every toy.
Not a very apt name for it.
Yeah. Well, I mean that's what I've always called it. That really
being strapping, you would think it would be like bulky and strong.
Well, it was
a strapping young tape.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, it's about the size of a plastic strap holding something. I guess that's what it was. But they wrapped every toy in the toy department in this tape, and they took the flaps on the G1 stuff, folded the flap down, and then wrapped it this way and this way. But I did get a Fangry for $12.
Nice.
So I mean, but yeah, we had Bradley's for like 2 years.
What about you?
Well, my favorite just Christmas memory from my youth in general is not Transformers related. It's the year that my parents lucked into like basically all the 2s for the NES that came out that year, like Castlevania 2, Mega Man 2, Super Mario 2. Yeah, like I think Mega Man 2 might have been a different year.
That was during the chip shortage, wasn't it? Also,
yeah, that was during the infamous chip shortage. Yeah, and they just lucked into just all of them like one night before, shortly before Christmas at Toys R Us. So that was a great Christmas.
We looked for Zelda 2 for months and months, and I don't remember even we found it. That and Castlevania 2 and Mario 2, but it took forever to get those.
I mean, that's a good thing to mention, is that, years ago when Nintendo was out, like people would get in fights in the parking lot over video games.
Well, Rob Springer's mom was mugged over the Xbox 360 the night that it was released.
Wow.
Jeez.
Yeah.
So it was pretty crazy, like when the original Nintendo was out, just getting games, and like nowadays,
the 80s were crazy, man.
Yeah, the systems are hard, but the games are easy to get. But
and now games are cardboard.
And I do have one other story that is just kind of embarrassing in hindsight.
Those are the best.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So like Christmas of 1992 or 3, I forget which. Okay, I think it had to be Sonic 2 came out in 92, didn't it?
Yeah,
that sounds right.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it was Christmas 92. Sonic 2 was literally the only thing I asked for. And the only place they could find it was KB, so it cost them a small fortune.
$65-$70 probably, yeah.
Yeah, so just by the virtues of KB Toys, I had probably the most disappointing Christmas ever, because my brother got G2 Optimus Prime and the entire Incredible Crash Dummies toy line.
Wow.
And I got Sonic 2.
Oh
man.
So for the next probably 5 years, 10 years, I was utterly insufferable, because it's like I knew I was getting Sonic 2. And that was the disappointing part. Not that I got the only thing, that I knew the only thing I was getting. So for like the next, I don't know how many years, I would just write out this ridiculous, insufferably long Christmas list and pass it out to my parents and my aunt and uncle and go, here, I don't care what you get me, just surprise me. I don't want all of this. Just, I just want it to be a surprise. And, to their credit, they were all very, very supportive about this. They were very kind to me in the subsequent years when I was doing this ridiculous list every year.
It probably helped when you made it clear you weren't expecting everything on this list. You're just, padding it out so that you can't possibly know everything you're going to get.
Exactly. Yeah. They
saw the logic in it.
So I just realized that I never got Sonic 3. I got Sonic 2, and Sonic and Knuckles, but never Sonic 3. My life is incomplete.
I never got 3 or in Knuckles, honestly.
Yeah, I never owned the cartridges for those.
Yeah, I don't know what it was about 3 that just when I rented it just kind of lost me. But yeah,
it wasn't 2.
Yeah, it wasn't 2, and 2 and CD are kind of where my interest peaked on Sonic. So that's just kind of thing.
For birthday 93, I got a Sega Genesis with Sonic 2 and a game called Art Alive, which was like a animation and clip art engine thing.
Yeah.
Okay, for someone who knows nothing about Sonic, is Sonic 2 good or bad?
The best.
Sonic 2 is good.
Yeah, Sonic 2 is probably the best they ever did.
It's the best standalone thing. I think Sonic 3 and Knuckles as a combined unit is,
Sonic 2,
I think it's
Sonic
an enjoyable
CD.
gameplay experience.
Yeah, there is a ROM out there for just the complete game in one package, and I want to give it another go like that sometime.
Yeah,
because I think I might enjoy it more.
Because the most I ever did with Sonic was watch Sonic Sat AM, and that was only an infrequent thing at that.
Cool.
I enjoyed the weekday syndicated Sonic more.
So
Saturday.
let's jump to what we got this week because we haven't done that yet.
I'll go first because I can do this kind of quick. So I want to get some Christmas presents out of the way. So I forgot to mention this last week. I'm sorry about that. So Josh Wheeljack64 from the network sale, the
nice
Ultimates, got me one of the shredders that they were offering for. Yeah, no shirt. It also has the error manufacturing head, which was why shredder was hard to find in 1990.
That's lovely.
With this painted helmet. Yeah. So I'm really happy to have this. Now, out of the same sale, I ordered some for myself. I ordered a Bebop and a Mutagen Man because that was what was left in stock.
But you didn't get it yet.
I haven't gotten Mutagen Man yet. I got this box yesterday or the day before. I forget now because time, as Matt would point out if he was here, is the fire in which we burn. But I got my Bebop in the mail. I haven't opened the inner packaging yet, but it's obviously Bebop because it has the Bebop insignia on the manhole cover on there. But along with Bebop, entertainingly enough, is another shredder that I didn't order.
That's funny.
Now I checked the packing slip in the large, badly packed box that these came in. It still shows Mutagen Man on the invoice, but not as being one of the fulfilled items. So apparently, I'm still getting Mutagen Man. They didn't like swap me a shredder for a Mutagen Man and just call it done. So that's an odd one. So that happened. Josh, thank you very much for that again. From Deno, who a few of us are friends with on Twitter, I also got Mega Construct's Call of Duty Torque. So this is this is wave 4 of the Call of Duty Heroes assortment. I like this one particularly because he comes with a little claw hammer. Which, like, who doesn't want a tiny little to scale claw hammer accessory for their action figures? Like, there's so much you can do with that in posing. He's got like a gun and stuff too. That's cool. But a claw hammer accessory, that is so good. I don't know of another one of these hero figures that has a claw hammer. Like, I'm just so bizarrely enamored with that. Okay, so I believe that covers the Christmas present stuff to date. So today I got in from Amazon. So okay, I've been doing the 25 days of toy photography thing on my website, as we well know. Thank you. One of the things that has happened over the course of doing the photography for that is I have broken almost all of my Tamashii Stage Act 5s finally after a surprising number of years in service. So like one of the support arms, the peg snapped off in Cyberverse Prowl, so that toy's never going on another stand again because there's no way to dig that out of there. Another one had the clip break off on one side. Like they're falling apart. They've been on their last legs for a while, and just doing all this stuff has kind of been the killer for that. So instead of going for another set of Tamashii stages, which I know are just a time bomb, I got a Bandai Action Base 4. So this is it's different? Well, Tamashii stages come in sets of 3s. So like 3, you can make 3 identical stands out of the parts in them. But they're even the Act 5s, which are supposedly for like heavier figures, are still kind of delicate and not really like super load bearing. These are built more for like 1/100 scale Gundam models and things of that volume and mass. So like there is extra support struts for the arm to reinforce your positioning, things like that. These also come with a variety of connector mechanisms to attach the figures with, including 3mm plug holes, which is what Transformers use when they have the fight stand compatibility. And this also has a separate accessory arm, is what they're calling it, but it's essentially just another flight stand arm that's thinner and lighter. So a second smaller figure could be set up with the same stuff in here. The point of this is it's heavier, more sturdy parts, basically. So I think I will get a little bit better lifespan and better use case out of this. And it was a little bit cheaper than getting another set of Tamashii Stage Act 5s, which I know are just going to break anyway under, like prescribed use, which to me is kind of ridiculous. I also got, I tweeted about these, some more of the G-frame Gundams. These are the other two sets from Wave 13, which I hadn't gotten from Target before. I actually found these at Hobby Lobby. And while they have a $16.99 sticker price, Hobby Lobby almost always has a 40% off sale on model kit stuff, and they consider these model kits. So each of these was about $10.50.
Cool.
Nice.
So yeah, so that's cheaper than Target, who has a more reasonable MSRP of like $12.99 per set. And it gets me an extra Zaku, because I think this Zaku is one Rob is holding on to, a spare up for me also.
Yes, it is.
So I obviously have not opened and put these together yet, but I'm always happy to have more G frames, because these are like the inexplicably best little cheap things I've found recently. Ever since Mega Constructs basically closed the door on their Heroes line, like it's the next, little cheap thing that I can get into pretty easily, and it's surprisingly good. And I think that does it for what I got this week. No on topics.
So Diecast got a giant phone.
Wow.
Yeah.
Sorry, the camera angle that on his yoga makes everything look huge.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Sorry about that.
No, you're good. No, I'm giving you crap. Hey, what did you get, Diecast?
I'll grab it. It's right here.
It better
I
be.
think I actually talked about this last week,
Oh,
but
I thought it was gonna be the dog. Okay.
it's worth showing again. It's the this is the
gun.
the
sniper
gun.
rifle.
Yeah.
The sniper rifle. But I got it in the white and blue because it reminded me kind of Fortress Maximus. But like I said last week, the only thing that kind of bothers me is this Optimus Prime head. I wish they kind of would have,
Yeah.
Creative.
like Optimus Prime. Yeah, come on, be a little creative. The whole toy is creative, except for the head. So
It's funky looking.
Just something about the proportions. I was kind of getting a Cybertron Metroplex vibe.
Yeah,
from it.
exactly.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah.
It's interesting. I don't like. It's so big though. Like I understand why it's big. They wanted it to be like a, maybe not full scale, but like 1/2 scale rifle. But like the robot is so big, it looks so unwieldy that way.
Yeah. I don't know. It's a pretty good robot though, from what I can see, and from what I've messed around with it. I haven't actually transformed it yet, but
So you haven't even like you haven't even like had it in its cool mode.
No.
Oh, that sucks.
But
you got
wasted
a dog.
yeah, I got a dog, so that's
You already
taking
mentioned
up
it.
a lot of time.
That's the cool thing. Okay. Anything else?
No, that's it.
Rob?
Yeah, got a few things. First up, thanks to Chris, I have the first volume of Dragon Quest Monsters Plus, which is a manga. Basically, it's a side story to the original Dragon Warrior Monsters for the Game Boy Color, of all things. Which I think that got reissued for 3DS in Japan, which is why there's a more recent manga to go with it. But it's by Yoshizaki Mine, who did the Sergeant Frog comic that ran forever and ever and may even still be running, but who even knows. But and I've only read a couple of chapters, but so far looks pretty interesting. I know it runs for like 4 or 5 volumes at least, so I'm probably going to try and get the rest of that. So thank you, Chris. Looks pretty good.
Enjoy.
Also from Valkesis on Twitter, I got Kingdom Dracodon, which I actually kind of like. That is a nice little figure. Very simple, easy to transform. The dino skeleton mode parts I feel like could maybe tab together a little bit better on the back. Like the one soft plate does not really want to connect to the harder parts. But beyond that, it's a nice figure. It's I don't know, it's just one of those things that's simple enough that it's fun to sit here and mess with. So that's I think that's there's always something to be said for that. Something there I don't have to wrestle out of the package, something that is easy to transform back and forth. That's a good spot to be
Optimus has the same thing going on pretty much.
I can believe it.
Hey Rob, which Dragon Quest game for the Game Boy Color was it that you referenced?
Dragon Warrior Monsters for
Dragon
the
Warrior
Game Boy Color.
Okay.
Yeah, the first one of those for the Game Boy Color is what the story seems to be based on.
I got a knockoff EverDrive this week for the Game Boy.
Nice.
I check and see if I had the ROM.
Yeah, there's Dragon Warrior Monsters 1
and 2.
1 and 2 both came out here, and they're both available for.
Yeah, I was looking for Dragon Quest, and then I saw it was Dragon Warriors. That explains it.
Yeah, that's that far back. That's like some of the last things Enix put out under their own label. I think that and Dragon Warrior 7 for the PS1.
Yeah.
So, and the remake of Dragon Warrior 3, which is kind of glitchy, but is the closest we can get to the just absolutely spectacular Super Famicom version in the US.
Which version?
Dragon Warrior 3 for the Game Boy Color.
Oh yeah, I was actually playing that today. That's where I'm at in my NES replay of Dragon Warriors, the third one. I'm playing it on the Game Boy Color.
Yeah, if you ever get a chance to try the Super Famicom version, there are fan translations out there.
I believe that I have a repro cart of that one actually. That
nice.
It's a fan's translation on repro. I have that and 6.
Yeah, it is absolutely beautiful. Has some of the best sprite animation for the enemies in that I have probably ever seen. It is a great version of the game, and it's a crime that it's never been released in the US in any way, shape, or form.
Wait. So actually, I have all but finished Dragon Warrior 5. That's the one where my save corrupted, and I was at the very end of the game, and my save corrupted.
That is terrible.
That pissed me off. Sorry.
That's okay. But yeah, let's see. Beyond those, I got my pre-ordered copy of Fist of the North Star Volume 3 showed up yesterday. So they are making pretty good progress on getting that out. I think it's like 12-14 volumes, so it's moving along relatively quickly. This still early in the story yet, so we haven't really gotten into the meat of it, but the artist really likes just adapting real life characters, real life people for characters in this. Like the main antagonist Rao is fairly famously based on Rutger Hauer from Blade Runner.
And in the manga, do they ever say you're already dead?
Constantly.
That's awesome.
And there's just a random villager in this particular volume that's straight up Obi-Wan Kenobi. So yeah,
I've heard that it's really good.
It is actually really good. It's better than the animation, in my opinion, and it's worth a read if you can grab it.
The movie was the first anime that I ever watched that I knew was anime, and it like blew my 13-year-old mind.
Yeah, that's pretty much where the movie is at. I'd say that's like the perfect age to encounter that. But a fairly loose adaptation of the manga when you get down to it. The manga has a little bit more going on. Of this, hopefully they actually get all the way through it this time. They've gone like 3 or 4 different attempts to get through this in English by different publishers. It's back with Viz, who made the first attempt back in the like late 80s, early 90s. But at the moment, the only way to see like the entire manga story start to finish is by in English officially is by playing Fist of the North Star Ken's Rage 2 for the PlayStation 3 or Xbox 360. That's the only way the entire manga story start to finish has ever been released in the US officially, which is ridiculous.
So it's you're playing the story from the manga, or you're watching you're reading the manga on the.
I'm reading the manga. We're up to like 3 solid hardcover.
No, the game. Like the disc.
The game. The game you're playing through it. It's a Dynasty Warriors style game.
Okay, I've heard that like in Japan that sometimes manga was released on like consoles to be read, like in
I can believe it
media form.
I can believe it. I've never encountered that myself.
On a recent episode of Retronauts, you're talking about Galgo 13, and I believe that there were some stories that were only released in a video game form that were actually just text stories.
Interesting.
Yeah, I may be completely off on that, but that's how I took it.
Sounds right, but yeah, that's. I'm trying to think if there's anything else I got this week, but I think it was just mostly like practical household stuff and gifts for other people. So
cool.
But yeah, in terms of toys and books, that's where I'm at for this week.
Don.
Yeah, all I got this week was, thanks to the sale on Walmart.com, I got Megatron and Optimus. Yes, and
it's cheaper now.
Yes, basically it was buy one get one free is what it worked out.
How much is it now?
20.
It's dropped since these came in today, and it's already dropped. So as soon as my new order comes in and I save $15, these will be being returned because I'm saving $50. Yeah, so I mean,
really Rat Trap went back up to full price though.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, Rat Traps. Yeah,
I got Rat Trap and Cheetor.
Yeah, but I mean that really
for $10 each or 11.
I was happy paying about 25 a piece.
Yeah.
And then they're now less than 20.
$18.96. Yeah. I'll pay that.
Yeah. So I mean, I'm already saving $8 to $12, give or take, with the taxes and stuff.
And
so yeah,
I will. For Optimus, I'll buy that.
Yeah. So as soon as my new ones come in, I'll be returning these to save some more money, because that's just like, I know stuff goes clearance all the time, but I mean, you know, that's $12.
You can still get Cheetor for like $11, I think.
I have actually had a carded original Cheetor with green eyes.
Last night Cheetor was like $8.
Okay,
so I think it's gone up a little bit, but it's still, fairly cheap.
Yeah, he's cheaper. But I'm really glad. I mean, I was glad to get him at buy one get one, basically.
I'm just gonna get Megatron. I'm skipping Optimus. I already have an Optimus loose I can play with.
Well, my Optimus has some age fading, and it's pretty bad on one side for some reason. So I kind of want.
I shouldn't get it. I don't need it. I'm gonna skip it.
Yeah, I mean, if you have an open one that's got all of its parts and the gearing works right, you don't really need to buy the reissue.
Yeah, but I'm definitely a little PO'd. It's already dropped in 3 days since I ordered this, and I'm overspending by like $12. But other than
have that mold yet, and I'm tempted.
It's definitely worth $19.
Yeah. Other than that, though, that's all I've got, because it's just been crazy lately.
Okay, cool. I'm gonna jump into what I got real quick. I got, this is the 2020 Brian gift to 2021 Brian back in March or April of 2020. I think I was still in the other house. I pre-ordered the Analog Pocket, which is the FPGA handheld console that Analog produced, and it plays Atari Lynx, Game Gear, Game Boy Color, and Game Boy Advance games. It plays Game Boy games, the Game Boy family, straight out of the box. You have to get an adapter for Game Gear or the Lynx. I didn't get the adapter for the Lynx because I don't have any Lynx games. I never had one, but I had a Game Gear. I'm actually loading up a game on a flash cart right now. Dragon Warrior 3. I actually have the physical cart for Dragon Warrior 3, but for whatever reason I'm playing a ROM of it.
I need to see if the battery in that's still good. I don't.
My battery is still good.
It to kill.
Whoa,
nice.
The game that the battery was dead in was my Dragon Warrior 1 and 2, I think.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So
I'm gonna have to check all of those at some point. Jeez.
Let me just see if I can, for people watching. Okay. Continue. It's just the color is very vibrant on this. It's got a really high resolution IPS screen.
What did it run?
I think they raised the price. I think it was $230. I think it's more than that now. But what I read, a suggestion was, if you want to play Game Boy games, the way to go for this, instead of getting the Pocket, is to go for a mod, the IPS mod for the Game Boy Advance. You can either get the original Game Boy Advance, or the SP, or there's also another version of the SP where it's no longer a flip based system with like a flip phone. It actually makes it like a Game Boy style with the SP screen.
Interesting.
Yeah, but I like this. I think it's fun, and I've played my portable stuff way more with this than I have anything else recently. So I'm very content with that. I went to Target, and they actually had some new Masters of the Universe Origin stuff. Stuff I had already pre-ordered from Big Bad Toy Store, and I shipped my loot after like 5 months at Big Bad. So I have a ton of stuff coming, including 4 Battle Android Troopers, which I'll have tomorrow, actually. But I got the Wave 6 of Origins. They had a couple of the toys there, but I got the Eternia Goddess, the repaint of Tila, because why not? I'll have that one to open. Had this last week, but I wasn't on. Slammer and Pipes.
Nice.
My Walmart had them like the week before last, and they're nice. That's all I got to say. There's nothing special, nothing crazy special about them. Slammer is I don't really have any deep insights into it. I mean, he's a weaponizer. It's different. It's a different toy. I haven't connected it with anything yet. I've only had it in like the 2 different modes, but it's pretty cool. So, let's see here. What else? Oh yeah. So a couple other things. My buddy Dusty for Christmas got me some Transformers related stuff. I don't have one handy, but he got me the PulseCon exclusive My Little Pony Optimus, which I already had, but I told him it's going to be the one that I open, and that's what I'm going to do with it. I just haven't had a chance to do that yet. This is a work in progress. He hasn't given it to me yet. He got the Transformers Monopoly set, the most recent one that came out with the actual, I guess, reputer, the minis. He's actually painting the minis for me.
Wow.
He's already primed them, and he's going through the process of painting them. So I can't wait to get that, and I'll show those off. But he got me some trade paperbacks, and it's stuff I have started. 2 of them I've started, stories that I started but not finished, that I only had in digital form. This one actually never read. Transformers Terminator. Transformers versus Terminator. Never read it, so this will be completely new to me. This one I started but didn't finish, so it'll be nice to read it in physical form, which is Transformers My Little Pony. And one that I can't believe that I never finished, but I didn't. So super excited about finishing this one, which is Transformers Star Trek.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's not bad.
I like what I read. So one more thing that I got, and this came just tonight. If you're watching the live stream or have listened to the podcast version of the pre-show, it was spoiled. But I was certain that I had ordered on eBay the Cloud Megatron because my memory, sucks. I guess I got that a while back. It came today via DHL during the recording of the live stream. I had actually gotten Cloud Brawn, which made me so happy. I opened it thinking it was an entirely different toy, and it was the toy that I've been wanting for so long. This is the first one that's popped up on eBay in months. And
that is beautiful.
It is. It's gorgeous. This was going to be the GDO Brawn, but it was not released in that series. And
they canceled it.
Yeah, canceled it, and it was resurrected for Cloud. The funny thing is, I guess how I wound up getting it for as good a price as I did is the seller was in Japan, and I guess they spooked people by putting $50 shipping on it. So I just bet on it, like $60, because I would expect to pay actually more than $110 for this with markup at this point. Nobody else bid on it, so I got it for $110, which is less than I've seen it go for.
Yeah, that's a good price.
Yeah, and it's flipping awesome. And you maybe, if you're watching video, you're like, Brian, that's ugly. Yeah, that's the point. It's gorgeously ugly. Yeah, I'm super happy to get this. This is a new centerpiece in my collection. And that is that. Hey, if you're going to buy something, use our Amazon link, tfradio.net/Amazon. That would be great. That would help us out. But if you don't, and you want to help us out on Patreon, you can do that, of course. Go to patreon.com/tfradio. We have a bunch of stuff there. We produce a lot of content for our Patreon. Too much, some people might say. I say no. More content, please.
That was kind of loud, Brian.
Sorry.
Oh.
Okay. But if you're a patron at the touch tier, you can actually, be on our History on the Fives podcast, hosted by Rob Clay. That is a weekly podcast where we look back at the history and Transformers in 5-year jumps. And we have a fun, awesome crew of touched patrons that are on that. But any patron at the touch tier can actually be on that show. You just have to let us know. But if you want to be one of those and you're not, you can go to patreon.com/tfradio and sign up. And if you are on that tier, you also get mentioned on the show each week as a thank you. And also at tfradio.net/credits. And those folks are listed here, and I shall read them off like I do every week. Kevin Dorsey, patron number 1. Patron number 1, Kevin Dorsey. He is on History on the Fives on the regular. Ryan Bona, Emmett Sresovich, Rabbits, Hector Bones, Ness, who the guys have been trying to get on History on the Fives for a while, but he refuses. Joey Russell, History on the Fives. Jason Hiley, Mike Mallory, Jay Rye, our pal Jay Rye, Sean Hamilton, who you cannot get off of History on the Fives. You try and you pry and you pry and you just won't go away. No, we love Sean. Sean actually appeared on my Christmas album this year as well. He was Santa Claus. BrianKilby.com. Jacob Owen Lucia, who we've been chatting with quite a bit today in our Discord at tfradio.net/Discord.
It's been interesting.
Yeah, it has. He has had some interesting stuff to say. Sean Bratton, or Boomer. Spider Bob. His daughter also has been appearing on History on the Fives, and she's great. Tyrell Gwynn, Paul Schreiber, Rick Mahurin, and Blake Reynolds. I am pretty sure this list is up to date. I think I updated it. Pretty sure.
It's fine. It's Christmas, unless you unknowingly left somebody out.
No, I didn't leave anybody out. I think it's current though. Otherwise, so
okay. Well, in that case, it's Christmas. It's fine. Just let it go.
Yes, but if you want to be on that list, Patreon.com/tfradio. New month's coming up. Sign up. That'd be great. Okay, and if you are already a patron and you haven't done so, and you need to update your credit card, please. So,
also, we should mention, we don't mention this enough. Patrons, if they link their Patreon account with their Discord information, do get special privileges in the Discord server. Access to a patrons-only channel that nobody uses, but maybe if we had more patrons, taking advantage of that, people would use it more.
Ness posted recently.
Yeah. It's unfortunate news, but
yeah, I'm looking at that now. Well, that's not good.
Well, no, it's not.
Well, okay. Well, I'm sorry, Ness. I just learned this now. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's not great news. No. But the point is, like, if you're a patron, link your Discord information and get access to the special patron perks on the Discord server, tfradio.net/Discord. Otherwise, you're literally leaving money on the table.
Yes, exactly. Okay, so you can find us on Twitter at TFRadio. We're on Facebook at facebook.com/TFRadio. And on the Instagrams at TF Podcast. And, of course, all of our archive going back 22 years.
Jeez.
TFRadio.net. We got a lot
going
of crap
all the
there.
way back to 758.
Yeah, going all the way back to the 1990s. Was your podcast being produced in the 1990s?
Probably not.
No, it wasn't. Ours was. So, tfradio.net, all that stuff is there. John DeLuna, not here. At that John D everywhere. Rob Springer, not here. He is at Rob Springer and at zonebase.org, and he has a TikTok. He's TikToking around. I'm on Twitter at bkilby and on Instagram at Brian Kilby and at briankilby.com. Like I said, my new Christmas album came out a couple weeks ago. You can hear me and Sean and my kids. My kids are on it now. You can hear my 2-year-old sing Jingle Bells. It's just the sweetest thing. BrianKilby.com. Diecast, how do people reach you on your phone?
Well, I'm in witness protection right now. I have to change my name.
I think I have Diecast's phone number. I could give that out if
I have his phone number.
I had to change my name, location, and get a new dog.
He is logged in.
Realizes.
He's logged into his son is logged in to his Zoom, so it's showing up with his son's name.
Well, Diecast going into witness protection by moving one room up is like the Millennium Falcon slowly drifting to the left for evasive maneuvers.
Evasive pattern Riker Alpha is just a left turn.
Yeah.
You can follow me on Twitter at Diecast2. You can see my reviews at tfradio.net/reviews, and you can like my Facebook page at Reviews by Diecast.
There you go. That's also your Instagram?
RFC
Reviews.
RFC Reviews.
Yeah.
For
that's your
TikTok.
Instagram.
I made a TikTok.
Oh,
cool. I didn't do anything with it yet, but it's there.
We have a TikTok that I've never used. Cool. Dawn.
I can be reached on Twitter at HMRC, the number 4 EVR. And that's pretty much it. I'm not going to get a TikTok because you really don't want to see me dance.
You don't have to dance necessarily.
You don't? What?
Just not necessarily.
I thought that's what TikTok was about. Okay.
I mean, no, people use TikTok for cat videos.
Ooh. My cats are old and just lay around all day.
I am not going to have a Massey Attack TikTok video channel. No,
I have a. No, you should. I want to nip it in the Massey Attacks and a toy anecdote TikTok channel. Stories about the BotCons you went to, the time you found that toy
next week.
That toy at that price. And offset the price using this, that, and the other. That's what you need is you need a bite-sized course on Dononomics on TikTok is what you need to be doing.
That's genius, Rob. Cool. Hey Rob, tell us how people get a hold of you.
Okay, they can find me on Twitter at Rob Flails, which is the Twitter account for my YouTube channel Flailthroughs, which youtube.com/Flailthroughs. I cover Gundam games at this point mostly. SD Gundam G Generation Genesis will be back this weekend. Done a slight sequence break for holiday appropriate content. Probably not hard to figure out what that would be if Universal Century Gundam is your thing.
It's the war
still
in the
covering
pocket.
Gundam. Precisely. Gundam Battle Operation 2 is still my main thing. This week's last mobile suit has been the Moon Gundam. I'll have a guest video coming up soon with that, which is going to lead into a year-ending guest block, so I can have a little bit of downtime. But cool. One thing I do want to mention for people who have PlayStation 4s or 5s, if you want to try Gundam Battle Operation 2 but do not like playing with other people, I don't blame you. And Gundam Battle Operation Code Fairy, which is the single player version of that game, currently on sale for $42 for the deluxe version on PlayStation Network until I think about right around your birthday. I think, Chris, in fact, it is on sale. If you do,
be a good thing for me to not get.
If you do play GBO2, the deluxe version is actually a great bargain at $42 because you get a 31 token pack, which ordinarily runs like $28 by itself. And you get that and 8 mobile suits for GBO2. So yeah, if you play the multiplayer version and you haven't played Code Fairy yet, it is worth checking out. But if you like what I'm doing over on YouTube, there's patreon.com/flailthroughs. You can throw money at me, request specific rounds in GBO2 or pilot characters added to G Generation Genesis. I've had a couple of people want to do that. And also there is still plenty of time to send me stuff if you feel like it at tfradio.net/playlist, because I'm certainly not going to say no if it shows up after Christmas.
Cool. Chris.
So this is going to be the last week that I'm plugging the 25 days of toy photography virtual advent calendar because it ends on Christmas Day and that's this weekend. So, kind of my last chance here. But I've been doing the 25 days of toy photography at playwithphotography.com, where every day I feature some random item from my collection that has, some general interest or personal significance to me, or just is conveniently at hand sometimes. I'm not that picky, honestly, but I've been working on that. Today went up. Today was Worlds Collide Black Arachnia, I think. Kind of, it's all running together now that I'm close to the end of it, but it's something like that. I also did BotCon 2013 Strika this week, which I was really pleased with how that came out, and that is a high favorite toy for me. Like, it's just such a great redeco of a great mold, and it's like one of the best executed BotCon exclusive toys under FunPub. It's kind of amazing that it and Obsidian honestly turned out as well as they did. But yeah, so there's the whole backlog of that is available at playwithphotography.com/advent calendar. Advent calendar is one word in the URL. That'll stay up permanently, so you can go back and follow along with that day by day. It links to all the blog posts. Again, that'll conclude this weekend. So thank you if you've been following along on social media at Play with Photos for the daily updates, or just been checking in with it periodically using the calendar page. But like, it's been an interesting thing to do. It's broken all of my Tamashi stages. I have been enjoying doing it, but I'm glad it's almost over so I can take a break and think about other things for a while. Personally, I'm on Twitter at ChrisRTXV. I can't think of anything significantly notable I'm doing there right now because most of my time and attention has been put on other things. If you like the photography stuff I'm doing and want to throw some support my way, I've got Patreon, patreon.com/photos. You can get in on that for as little as $2 per month. And much like Rob, I do have my Amazon wish list. And of course, there's still time to send me something for Christmas because, several things on there have like same day, next day delivery. And I also am not going to say no to something that comes after Christmas because like it makes my day anytime something unexpected comes from the wish list or anywhere. So that's at tfradio.net/chrislist, where you can send me something and help support the show a little bit at the same time. And thank you to everybody who sent me something already.
Cool. Awesome. I think that's it. Next week, I think our year end will probably be the week after next. It's normally the first episode of the year. So we'll see how that goes. Hey, I'll say this. Our unedited list of news items for 2021
must be pretty short.
Is shorter than our edited list from 2020. So I think we can make it. So that'll be probably the first week of January. So sweet. Okay, cool. We'll see you next week.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Very happy, whatever you celebrate.
I liked that. Very happy, whatever you celebrate.
Recording stopped.
Hey, so I'm actually tweeting about this. Hey, I'm sleepy. But I'm sleepy minus any weird groggy confusion or slurring of speech.
Nice.
That's
I almost don't recognize you.
Yeah. It's weird. Like I could go to sleep right now, but I'm not like weirdly confused and my head doesn't hurt. This is awesome.
I woke up with my head hurting. That kind of sucked.
Yeah, that happened every day.
For me, it's an unusual thing.
Every day.
All right.
Okay.
I wake up with...
Take care, Diecast.
Hey, people watching live, I think we're going to end the stream because we ran longer than normal, which is not a bad thing.
Yeah. No, considering we had no news topics to talk about.
Yeah, so we will see you next week. Merry whatever. Have a good one. Bye, YouTube.